Okay, so we have a great session lined up today, Show Me the Money. So this session is geared towards our local businesses here in Minto. Um, and we are just hoping to share with you some information on different finance resources that are available for your business. So I'm just going to go over some of the um, different resources and the different individuals that are going to be speaking today. We're going to go into a session where each of them are going to talk about what resources they have available. And then we'll hold off on questions until the end and we'll have a question period. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to the experts. I will also be sending contact information for all the experts. So if you do have any, additional questions or you want to reach out to them, then you can do so after the session. So I'll just go over some of the individuals that will be talking today. So Belinda Wick Graham, if you want to put your hand up there, Belinda, she is the Director of Economic and Community Development for the town of Minto. Then we're going to hear from Noah Anderson with Libro Credit Union. Noah, if you can just put your hand up there. And then Jamie Doherty, he's with the Saugeen Economic Development Corporation. Then we're going to hear from Renee Gendron with the Paro Center for Women's Enterprise. There she is. Then we'll hear from Natalie Brown with Meridian Credit Union. And we will finish it off with Julia Rader of Futurepreneur. So let's go ahead and start with Belinda. If you want to get started there, Belinda.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks to Caitlin for pulling this together rather quickly. We definitely recognized a need and a great turnout for our special guests. We do have 14 businesses participating in our Pitch It business plan competition this year. So we thought this would be a helpful exercise and information for them. So just to give a little rundown of some of the grant programs that we have available at the town of Minto that might help out some of the businesses. Our most popular programs are facade and signage grant program. So if you need to get a storefront and you need to make any improvements to the facade, we do have matching grants up to $3,000 for those, as well as a signage grant. You will probably need a sign, and this doesn't matter where you are in Minto. If you're in the country and you need a sign for your business, you can apply, and it's a matching grant up to $1,000. Typically, how these programs work is you would fill out an easy application, get 2 quotes. We pay out based on the lower quote, and then you get approved, you go ahead and get your sign or do your facade improvement, and then we will you give us proof that you've paid for that, and then we will give you a check for the grant. I know Jamie's not on the call yet, but I will make note that Saugeen Economic Development does work with us. And if you need the upfront cash flow to get your sign, because we pay out after that's done, SEDC will fund you those funds. And there's Jamie there. I'm not stealing his thunder. But we do work together to help people out with those grant programs. Another program that we have, I know we have some restaurants and some folks participating, is our outdoor patio grant. So again, it works the same way. You apply, you get your quotes, and this grant is a matching grant up to $3,000. So if your patio is going to cost you $6,000, then we will give you 3. If it's going to cost $5,000, we will give you $2,500. So again, anyone looking at doing an outdoor patio of any sorts, again, doesn't need to be in the downtown. It can be anywhere in Minto. You are eligible to apply for that. Another fun, smaller grant that we have is a storefront accessory grant. If you're looking at doing any benches, bike racks, or planters to spruce up your downtown building or anywhere else. I keep saying downtown, but not necessarily. This is a matching grant up to $500. So there's a lot of people out cycling our area in the summer. So having a bike rack might be a good draw for some of the businesses that are participating. Again, same process, apply, have quotes, submit, get approved, do the work, submit your invoices, and then we give you your check. And another program that we have that's quite popular, but more for business or property owners is our structural grant program. This is a fairly large program. It could be matching up to $40,000, but having said that, it is very rare that somebody would receive that amount. This is for significant improvements that are needed to existing buildings. So accessibility, energy efficiency, general structural like roofs, footings, anything like that would qualify under this program. I'm not so sure. There's a lot of our businesses looking to do stuff like that. So, but if anyone is, we do have that program. And then I know that James from the County of Wellington couldn't be here. So I'll just touch briefly on the Invest Well program. So the county has CIP as well, but the money flows through the town of Minto. And depending on the project that you're doing, we will help you access the county's grant funds as well. So you could get a range of money. It's a little more complicated than ours. They have a whole scoring criteria, which I'll share with Caitlin, but we help you through that process. So basically, if you qualify under our program, it opens the door for you to get money from the county as well. So just know that we're here to help you through that process. So I'm not going to go into deep details on that, but just know if you qualify for ours, we can help you get money through the county as well. So I think that's the highlights of our grant programs.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Belinda. And again, we will be holding some questions at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to jot them down and we can touch base on those. So next up, I'm going to introduce Noah Andreessen with Libro Credit Union. Welcome, Noah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I should look to share my screen. Sorry, I haven't used Zoom in a while. Can you guys allow me to share my screen? So just to start it off, I'm the small business specialist here at Libro. I cover Listowel and Stratford, but I seem to branch out a fair bit across Huron-Perth and even a little bit into Bruce. But things have been pretty busy, and I gotta say it's been pretty fun trying to help so many businesses throughout this time period and just keep things moving. But when it comes to new businesses, there's a lot to consider. I'm going to focus a little bit on financing, but I'm really going to talk a fair bit about Libro as we go on. And I tend to talk a lot, so if I go over 10 minutes, just give me a little bit of a heads up and I'll wrap it up pretty quick. So about Libro, we're one of the largest credit unions in Southwestern Ontario. We've been around for 75 years and we've got a growing network of owners. For example, I open a brand new business at Libro every single week. There's always lots of lending going on, and we've got a great network of ATMs with different credit unions across Ontario. We're still a full service financial institution, as we may not seem like it, but people don't seem to quite see that coming to a credit union. They expect to lose some perks, but we are a full service institution and we do what we can. But growing prosperity is something we really focus on. We are a cooperative, we share our profits with our owners. And once you open an account at Libro, you become an owner as well. And you own your own little share of Libro, which we pay out a little bit each year, depending on your business with us. Now, one thing that really separates us from everybody else is our coaching. We focus a great deal on coaching and how much we sit down and try to work with people. Sometimes it can feel like you're struggling to work with a coach, but that's just because that coaching is so valuable that sometimes it can seem to get booked up. But we still try to make time to meet with every single owner if they wish to do so. Now, we invest a fair bit in the community. We invest 1.5 million so far last year in communities, and it's been pretty fun working with communities and trying to get them to grow. But our profit shares have paid out a fair bit over the years. It varies each year depending on profit, but it's nice to be able to pay back owners for being able to work with us depending on how much business they have with us. Now, we've got all kinds of products and services, and don't think that this is all we offer. We have quite the range of products that we can offer. But specific things that are kind of newer that we've really been pushing lately is we've got payroll services for new owners that we can offer through a partner. I gotta say, are very reasonably priced. And the most common thing I hear from businesses today, I get my accountant to do that. Well, the average accountant charges over $100 an hour. So if you can get a decent payroll service to cover that for you, that could save you a great deal of money. And we offer group RSP and benefits to new businesses as well. And when it comes to insurance, it's very hard to insure young entrepreneurs, but we definitely do what we can. And I definitely push them to look for life insurance and things like that as well. And we can also offer critical illness and disability insurance depending on the situation. And then merchant services is also quite popular. But on the other hand, we also have US accounts that we can help owners be able to transfer funds or hedge funds in different currencies as well. But we definitely focus on the US side. We don't do a whole lot with euro or other currencies. Now, there's not too many reasons for businesses not succeeding, but they do drive around the main focuses. Like starting your business for the wrong reasons is going to put you in the wrong direction immediately. You're not going to be focusing on what's driving it and what's most important to it, and creating those core values goes a long way. Now, this lack of experience, I think, is probably one of the biggest ones, because all of the other reasons still could be wrapped up underneath that one as well. But getting a good mentor and having somebody to bounce ideas off of goes a long way in building that experience up. And not enough money is a big one as well. Because when it comes to starting your business, a lot of people come to the bank and say, hey, I got this great idea, I want to start this business, but we don't typically fund a startup from scratch. It's not something that any bank will typically do, because as a bank, lending is based on history, and there's no real history there yet. Like when it comes to lending to a business, we want to see 1 to 2 years under your belt before things go that way. Like we'll still do lending, it just depends on the situation. Like I'll try and use an overdraft and call it a line of credit in some circumstances, but it depends on the business. And a business starting from absolute scratch, when you're coming to us for lending, we're wondering, what are you putting into it other than your time, right? Like there's got to be something other than, hey, that's what I'm here for. We want to see what you're bringing to the table other than your time to build that business as well. And sure, location can be a big hindrance on some businesses. Trying to find that great spot to help them take off can go a long way. And lack of a sound business plan is actually a big one. I have sat down with a couple of people, and I hate to say it, but I've ripped apart their business plan because I can tell that just the lack of thought that was put into it. And it's like, this is going in front of a credit team. You really want to make sure that this sounds good, because these are the people determining your loan. They're looking at the pricing for your loan. They're looking at the risk associated. There's a lot involved into that. And there's probably sometimes, depending on the complexity of the business, there could be 8 pairs of eyes going over that business plan, which can really affect your loan if one person just takes it the wrong way. And expanding too fast is a very hard thing to get control of, because a lot of people just get excited around the expansion of their business and they're so happy to see this growth, because sometimes it just takes years and years for that growth to come. But that expansion may be exciting, but you need to be very careful on how you do so. Now, the big question is getting loan for new business. Like, how does that happen? Like, it can be very hard. I mean, there's lots of grants out there that lots of organizations will help you get to and help you come up on. But here's what it takes to get a loan from a typical financial institution, not just Libro, but you can use this and take it to just about any financial institution. Now, these are our typical products that we utilize when it comes to lending. Like the business overdraft is almost always where I start, because we can pretty much put that up overnight, whereas a typical lending facility can be up to a month sometimes when it comes to adjudication and putting that loan together, because there's a lot of thought that goes into each loan. But what we're looking for is we're not as much investing in your business as we are looking to make a little bit of profit on our money as well. Like we need to ensure we're paid at the end of the day, and we need to ensure there's security on each loan. And if there's problems, we really need to break down that security and see what it takes to make sure that the security is strong enough. So when there's a well thought out business plan, that goes a long way to speak to projections and forecasting and how the business is going to operate. Because sometimes there's, in a way, subset businesses inside that could be completely differentiating from the main growth vehicle. But we do almost in every case want to see a capital investment by the owner. It doesn't matter the loan, like unless you have security up to your teeth, there must be a capital investment by the owner in the whatever facility we're looking to give you for lending. It's just like when you go to buy a car today, you don't buy a car with no money down almost. There's odd instances or programs where they will allow that to happen, but they want to see you make a down payment, and it will make a long way on your interest rate as well. Because anytime we do 100% financing probably isn't pretty, but I mean, it's got to be a realistic request as well, and realistic projections really help that. Like if you're coming to me saying your business is going to do $1 million next year in sales, well, how's that good? What's the profit margin on that? And where's that $1 million coming from? I really want to see, like, I want to see a plan on those sales. Like, who are you talking to make those sales happen? Like, this is a brand new business. So to just jump out there and do $1 million in sales, which I see on just about every other business plan, can be kind of frustrating sometimes because I need to see where that's coming from. Otherwise, I can't speak to it at all. Like, sure, it can sound pretty realistic if you're working with a team. So it's gotta have like anything on paper goes a long way. If you can secure some sales, and this is somebody who's going to be with you for a long time, see if they'll sign something. Because if you get that contract signed, we can speak to it. We can speak to that you'll be with this person for a long time, and this is on paper. And now that if they break that contract, then all of a sudden you can try and pursue legal action as well. Now, having a strong personal net worth and good credit goes a long way. Like, I mean, when it comes to good credit, I could do a whole nother presentation on that. And I am in no way a credit specialist. I just deal with it every day. So having good credit goes a long way. Make sure you pay those bills. And if you really do struggle to get that loan, try to bring in a personal guarantor or a business to guarantee the loan as well. But whenever you're bringing in somebody to do that, ensure that this is a strong individual or entity, because if they're not strong enough, they can actually make your application look worse in some cases. And sometimes if you find that your interest rate is too high, even consider bringing in that personal guarantor. You can drop that interest rate pretty substantially sometimes, but it can often just come down to what type of security you're using. Now, when it comes to credit, these are probably the biggest pillars we look at other than financial statements. Like, obviously, we want to see your capacity of repayment, but there's got to be strong character there. Like, is this person being mean to staff? Like, why are we going to go out of our way to help this person if they're not helping anybody else? And when it comes to a loan, there has to be collateral. And I mean, there's different types of strengths of collateral. Real estate will forever be number one. Real estate, even if it devalues significantly, it will still be a very strong piece of collateral because it's worth so much. Like it goes a long way. But you need to also think of, all right, say your business is product based and you move plenty of products, but your products are worth a lot of money. and your products sell for maybe $50,000 a piece. They're specialized products. You put a lot of effort and work into these. You innovated these. And yes, your product is worth $50,000 and you've got maybe a couple $100,000 of inventory, maybe $1 million. But at the same time, you're looking for roughly $1 million in lending. And that $1 million in inventory doesn't quite measure up to that $1 million in lending, because if we're looking at collateral as when things go sideways, when things go bad. So if we have to go in there and we have to take collateral, and we're looking at it as if you can't sell that product, now we're forced to liquidate that product. Like that's why the loan to value can often be quite small, and typically it's 50% loan to value when it comes to collateral. So if you're looking for that $1 million loan and you've only got $1 million, your banker's probably going to be like, we should probably reconsider and try to bring that down a little bit, or try and get outside help. Capacity, I guess I went over all this, sorry. But will the business generate sufficient cash flow to repay the debt? Like that's a very strong indicator of strength. Like other source of incomes go a long way, but when we're considering income, we need to see, is this income still going to be around when this business starts up, or is the business going to affect that income? It's very common. And how much of the wage is required to repay existing debt obligations? And back to, are they going to stay there? Are they going to change sometimes? Because sometimes people change jobs in the middle of it as well. All that strength needs to be considered. And in the projections, I honestly go through an entire business plan most of the time. It really depends on the business, but yeah, I'll really dive deep into a business plan sometimes, because it's really the only strength that you've got if somebody is quitting their job to start up this business. And a lot of times it's really hard to secure that lending, and I'm your only chance to do that. So going through that business plan is basically make or break when it comes to a lot of lending on new business. So anything on paper goes a long way. If you're looking for lending for a piece of equipment, send us that invoice when you come in. We need to see proof of what that's costing. Now, character is really important. It's interesting sometimes how we'll consider it. There always is a small paragraph on character when we do a credit presentation. We need to see, is this person compassionate? Are they driven? Are they going to grow this business? What is the future potential of this person, maybe after they pay off this loan? Is there going to be future opportunity with this person as well? Are they honest? Is the information they sent me true and correct? I've had issues where they would come back and be like, well, I thought you said this. Sometimes it can be interesting. I did a pretty deep dive on collateral. I think we're okay for that, but
I think we're just a few more minutes there, and then we've got to go on to the next panelist, if you don't mind there, Noah.
All right, I'll skip through most of this, but the typical documents needed are the personal net worth, 2 years tax returns, 2 years notice of assessments, a business plan with existing or projected financials. And then when it comes to the new business, we want to see articles of incorporation, bylaws, tax identification number, and full ID with all the registries involved as well. We'll skip through this part. And there's lots of tips, like have a good cushion when it comes to cash shortages. Find the right advisors. Like there's all kinds out there. Utilize your accountant, your lawyer. They're some of the strongest individuals, but ensure you're going to the right coach for the right advice. And then make your business plan a living document and change it every year. Actually keep it. It goes a long way. And then build a worst and best case scenario for your forecasting, because it gives me something to play with. Like, is this actually what the worst case is going to be? And then what's the best case? Should I be lending against the middle, or should I consider the different types of risk involved? And ensure you know your competition and that you're differentiating. You need to be organized, professional, and prepared. If you bring in all your documents and you just bring in a file folder and slap it on my desk, I'm not going to be very impressed. But if it's all in there, it's all organized, I'll take it and run with it. I will do my best to help you. And then make sure your presentation definitely makes an impact. And if you know your numbers, it goes a long way. If I find an issue in the numbers and you don't have an answer for me and I have to get it from your accountant, it makes me think that you don't understand your business fully, and that's not what I want to hear. And anticipate obstacles. Like, things happen, things break down. Like, there's gonna be issues. You need to anticipate some of those. Now, there's all kinds of help you can get out there. I work very closely with Perth Community Futures, BDC, and the Small Business Center. I try to reach out to accountants and lawyers once in a while, and then try and get yourself a mentor as well. And there's all kinds of help on social media. For example, BDC and Perth Community Futures, they will do 100% loan to value. There's times when I will secure the loan for the individual, and then BDC or Perth Community Futures will guarantee that loan for that person. This benefits the business owner because we can get them a better interest rate, but a stronger loan to value by bringing in a partner on the loan. All right, does anybody have any questions, or would we like to move forward?
I think we'll go forward and then we'll take the questions after. Thank you so much for that. That was very insightful and a lot of information for our businesses. So next up, we're going to talk to Jamie Doherty with Saugeen Economic Development Corporation. Jamie, do you want to take over?
Yes, hi, thank you, Kaylin. Sorry that I arrived late. I was actually really looking forward to this for quite a while, so I thank you again for inviting me to this. So my name is Jamie Doherty. I am the Business Community Counselor for Saugeen Economic Development Corporation, and we're part of the Community Futures program. And just as Noah was saying, that we do work closely with our lending partners like credit unions and the traditional banks. We definitely look at being the flexible lender per se when it comes to helping our businesses with financing needs. So I'll just kind of step back and talk a little bit about Community Futures and where we come from and what we do. So SCDC is in its 38th year of operation. It's one of 61 Community Futures Development Corporations across Ontario. There's over 250 Community Futures offices in Canada. The program is supported by FedDev Ontario, and 21 Community Futures serve the Southwestern Ontario area. Each corporation is governed by a board of directors, and it's made up of local professionals like myself, or the board volunteers their time and are familiar with communities' unique needs, concerns, future development priorities. So our office is located in Neustadt, and our catchment area straddles 3 counties. So in Wellington County, we serve Minto and Wellington North, and then there's 8 other municipalities that we serve across Grey Bruce. So our mandate is to actively pursue and encourage development, implementation, and maintenance of local initiatives that promote community development, job creation, and growth of small business. We work in partnership for the community's future, and we do this by providing different business services, such as providing term loans up to $300,000 to qualifying businesses. For startup needs, again, we will provide financing to a startup from scratch and help them start right from the get-go. We also provide equipment loans, leasehold improvement. We provide funding for training, hiring, inventory, operational capital, and things like that. To go off of what Belinda was talking about with the community improvement program, we also have a community improvement community improvement assistance fund that we would provide the 50% that you were required to come up with to take advantage of the grant that the municipality would offer. We do provide that guaranteed if you've been approved through the municipality. We provide up to $20,000 for that 50% need for whatever you've been approved at that municipal level. We also would take into consideration the approval at the county level as well. Again, it would be a maximum of $20,000. So mine, I guess, it's going to be sort of similar to what all the lenders have to offer. We look at the same criteria. We're going to need a business plan. We're going to need your loan application, and we're going to need to do a credit check and to make sure that you have everything lined up properly. If you're applying for a loan with us, we do require that you provide if you're an existing business, that you provide your existing financial statements. If you're a new business, we look at getting a cash flow projection for 12 to 24 months. And then we work with you to help you get everything together, but we would not be providing any, I guess, training per se on how to build out your business plan. As Noah had mentioned, the business plan is very, very important and crucial to the success of the business. It's a working document. We look at it the same way, and we would definitely advise and consult as you're building through your business plan, as well as looking at your projections on what the business is going to do. And again, when we accept the package, we want to make sure that's a full package before we move forward. And then once we receive that, it can take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks to get a decision on that loan application. The process would be that it would go through myself, and then I move it on to my general manager, Rose Austin, who would then have questions for the applicant, and then it would go on to the board of directors, who make the final decision on that. Once it's decided, then we let the applicant know. So I guess that's really it in a nutshell, what we do here. We're a very small office. There's 3 of us in the office here, but we look to turn around any loan applications as quick as possible, and also to provide that assistance with anything in your business needs. If it's just to advise or to direct you to the resource that you're looking for, that's what we're here to do. So again, I'll take any questions at the end, but thank you for having me, and yeah, great to be here.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jamie. Again, that was very informative. A lot of different resources and information for our businesses, so we appreciate that. We are going to jump over to Paro Center for Women's Enterprise. I'm going to introduce Renee Gendreau. Renee, if you just want to take over.
Hi. So Caitlin, everybody, thank you so much for inviting me to participate in this wonderful forum and conversation. Like Caitlin said, I do work for Paro, and Paro is a nonprofit organization that supports women entrepreneurs throughout Canada. We are headquartered in Thunder Bay. I am myself located just outside of Ottawa, but we do have representatives in the GTA, Southwestern Ontario, from memory, BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. So we are across the country, and we're very happy to serve women as best as we can. Overview, I know I'm going to focus much more on financing, but just to give you an overview, we have supports and programs from ideation all the way up to export. No business is too small, no business is too big. We're always happy to help. I will share my screen because I do talk fast. Most of the time my PowerPoint doesn't flip through if I go in presentation mode. I'll just try it here. If I change slides, can you see the change of slides? Caitlin?
I don't see a change. I just see the presentation.
Yeah. So I'll keep it in the sort of prep mode so that you can see me changing slides, and I'll just walk you through it. Paro is Latin for I am ready, and we are here to help you shape your destiny. As I mentioned, we are across Canada, but I'll focus on Ontario. We have basically three things, three pillars to our programming and our financing. First, to always grow women's companies. Second, to grow opportunities for you to network, for professional development, for personal growth as an entrepreneur, right? You undertake, you do what you can to learn, thrive, and go forward. We've been around just under 30 years. In that time, just over a 10-year period, we issued over $10 million in grants and loans to clients. And I'll get into the financing mechanisms a little bit sooner, a little bit later. Overview, what we do is we have free business counseling. We have mentoring opportunities. We are the largest women-centered peer-to-peer lending network in North America. We have plenty of opportunities to help you grow and sharpen your skills. And we also have specialized programming to help you launch, scale, and grow, and then ultimately export quickly, because I can talk very fast. We have supports from ideation and startup. Those are in forms of webinars, in forms of programs, and in terms of peer lending circles. We also have financing to help you launch your company as well as expand your company once established. In terms of new growth opportunities, right, this is just a rapid fire program here. We do have programming to help you scale, to leverage technology, to help you get to national shelves if you have a consumer packaged good, if you're working in the agri-food space. And we actually lead 2 trade missions every year to supplier diversity conferences in the United States. We train you, we go with you, and we help you develop your networks and contacts in the United States. I myself lead 2 trade missions every year for SaaS companies and for medtech companies. And that's basically for Canadian conferences to help women in male-dominated sectors expand and increase their presence in those fields. But the fun part, the part that you're here, is money. So how can Peril help you? Our core program, what we started with as an organization, 29 years ago, 29 and a half years ago, we started that with circles. Circles are groups of 4 to 7 women that self-select. So we do have networking opportunities for you to connect with other women if you're just starting out in business or if you don't know that many women entrepreneurs. Basically, you form your group. You can form your group along any criteria you want. Some of them are based on linguistic or common cultural background. Some of them intentionally seek out different skill sets in order to kind of barter and trade between you. Others would say, no, I want to work with others who are in the same industry because we face the same challenges, so I want to be able to pick other people's brains. Whatever composition you want for your circle, perfectly fine. You have 4 to 7 women in the circle. You come, hey, Renee, I want to form a circle. Great. I give you paperwork because paperwork makes the world go around. You fill out a few things about your charter, the name of your group, when you're going to meet, right? It is a commitment. You meet at least once a month. Every member pays $20 one time per year into an emergency fund. Great, you're off and running. Every month you meet to discuss business, to discuss referrals, to discuss any kind of problems in strategy or sales you might be facing. Fine. And then if one of you needs a little bit of money, stage 1 funding is a $500 loan followed by a $500 grant, which means you present to your circle your project idea. This is how I'm going to use this money to grow and expand my business. And then the circle decides yes or no. This is the peer lending, the peer accountability support within the system. If your circle goes, yes, that's a great idea. And yes, I understand how you will generate more revenue from this activity. It could be more inventory. It could be going to a conference because you need to network with people you want to sell to. It could be upgrading your laptop, or if you're working in graphics design, upgrading your tablet or cell phone to be able to keep up with Adobe. Great. You need those tools to do your business. So there's a logical way for you to increase your sales and pay it back. Once Peril has the receipts of whatever it is you said you were going to buy in your project proposal, we then issue you a $500 grant. You have a minimum of 5 months to repay the loan. You have a maximum of 9 months to repay the loan. What's unique about this is that it's character-based lending. You can have very poor credit history. You can have no credit history as a newcomer. You could have gone through a brutal divorce and your credit rating is in the tank. You would still qualify for this money. And because it's a loan, it would actually help rehabilitate your credit rating. for larger loans, and perhaps you'd apply, you could go to Jamie or to NOAA for their loans as well. Stage 2 funding, same process. It's $1,000 loan and $1,000 grant. And again, you would have minimum 6 months to repay it, maximum 9 months to repay it. Stage 3 funding is also character-based lending, and that would be up to $3,000 of loan. And stage 4 funding, also character-based lending, would be up to $5,000 of loan. So these are really good tools if you're not familiar with cash flow, if you're not familiar with handling money, record keeping that you need in order to convince Noah and Jamie that you're good with your numbers, that you know what your strategy is and how you're going to do it. So this would be one mechanism for you. And it's independent of the size of your company, whether you're a startup or if you are a multi-million-dollar company and you don't want to put it on your credit card for some reason, you would still be eligible for the $500 loan, the $500 grant. A second thing that we do as character-based lending, and this is very unique to Peril, we are a member of something called the Women's Enterprise Organizations of Canada, so WEOC, W-E-O-C. And each province has at least one partner, and each organization collectively pretty much lobbied the federal government for over 10 years to have women-focused financing that was based on character and not credit score. Many women are single parents. That takes a really big hit on your credit rating. Many women tend to have fewer accesses to family resources, even if she's married. Usually she'll say the husband handles the finance, and usually in a divorce, she's actually worse off for a lot of reasons. So we lobbied hard. We finally got the WEOC funding. And this is super exciting because this is also character-based lending. And you can have access as a startup or as an expanding company. You're already in business. You've been in business at least 2 years. You have really good numbers. For whatever reason, your credit rating isn't good. You can still apply for this and you would receive up to $50,000. You can do a lot of things with the WEOC loan. You can use it as working capital. You can buy inventory. If you're leasing a property and you need to make improvements, this would also be eligible. You can pay for professional development of your staff. You can pay the professional fees associated with starting or maintaining your business, your lawyer fees, your accounting fees. Make sure that your taxes are up to date, that sort of thing. So that's very unique. It is also unique in the sense that it's prime plus 4%. So currently that's 11.2%. But over your amortization period, let's say it's a 3-year loan of $30,000, you don't need to spend it to pay it out within 3 years. If you did really well and you want to repay your loan faster, you can without penalty. So some of my clients are actually using it as working capital, where she has a contract that pays 10 days net, and then she has to pay the manufacturer within 30 days. So she places the order. That's what she uses the loan for. Her client pays her. And then by the time the manufacturer is done this cycle, she can pay the manufacturer. So that's like a month in, month out scenario. And she just keeps rolling that as working capital. So it is very flexible. It is character-based. You don't need collateral. We will finance companies based on the merit of their business plan, and we work with clients to make sure that their business plans are really polished and up to date and they know their numbers. We've got clients that were financed with a credit score of 550, which is like borderline not acceptable for many other lending institutions that aren't loan sharks. We have supports for you. We have supports to help you get there, as it were. And then the third thing I'm going to mention in terms of financing is a trickier one to understand. So I'm just going to put it out there that we would need to have a conversation with you and your business before you think that you're eligible, because it's very finicky. However, it's called biz growth funding. This is exclusively, and I should say, the financing and all the work that we do is for women-owned, women-led businesses. It can't just be you have partners and you're just the figurehead of the company. You need to legally be at least 50.1% owner of the company as a woman, and you need to be making the strategic decisions. We've had a couple of cases where she was the figurehead of the company and it was 1 or 2 men that were running the company, and she literally had no idea what they were doing. So it really has to be women-owned, women-centered, and women-led. For the biz growth funding, you need to be at least in business 2 years. You need to have at least $50,000 in sales both years with a trajectory of growth. So realistically, with the trajectory of growth, you're looking at a minimum of 3 years to prove that you're a sustainable, viable business. The Biz Growth Funding is intended to help women expand to different geographic areas. Now, that would mean, let's say that you're in Milton, you would want to expand to Windsor. You don't want a second location within your area. You really want to expand to a different location. All right, what does that mean? That could mean that you want to go after a different kind of client, that you want to create a different kind of product, that you want to go network in Vancouver or at a trade show in New York, whatever that might be, in order to literally reach out different kinds of clients. It would be 50% of funding of up to a $5,000 ask. So if you're going to a trade show, you've got your hotels, you've got your travel, you've got your price of admission. Some other eligible expenses could also be included. So whatever that is, as close to $2,500 as we can get it, you would be eligible for it. If you need equipment to serve a different population because you're expanding from Milton to Toronto or from Ottawa to Thunder Bay, this could be eligible. It's also eligible if you want to go to our export missions. We lead 2 export missions a year to the United States. And if you qualify to be part of the export mission for first time, this is a one-shot deal. You could also be eligible for the Biz Growth Funding. All right, so it is picky, but I just wanted to put it out there in case anybody would be interested or qualifies. I have given Caitlin my contact information. I appreciate your time and your attention. And just remember that Pear was a one-stop shop, really, from ideation to export in terms of programming and financing and coaching. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Renee. That was very interesting, and it's such a different approach to lending. So really great information, and we'll be sure to share your information with all the businesses here. So we're going to step over and chat with Natalie Brown. Natalie is with Meridian Credit Union. Natalie, do you want to take over?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so very much for having me on the call. So I'm going to preface that I'm not great with Zoom. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to try to share and then try to have reading notes and try to push my presentation. So your patience is hugely appreciated. So let me find what screen I'm supposed to be on. Let me know when you can see me.
Looks like it's sharing there.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I figure where I am. I am so sorry. This is going to be fun. Okay, so thank you so much for having me. So, so obviously my name is Natalie, and I'm with Meridian the second time around, I like to say, for about not quite 7.5 years now. And so, can you see my speaking notes or no?
I do not see them.
Okay. Oh, I'm doing it right. Okay, thank you. Okay. So first, I just want to give you a brief overview of Meridian. So let me see. Is that changing? Oh, okay. We're cooking with fire. Okay. So we are the largest credit union in Ontario, the 3rd largest in Canada. We are a 100% member-owned financial institution with 75 years of banking history. And we've got, oh my goodness, we've got 15 business centers, so business banking centers, 89 branches across Ontario, and over 27,000 business members. And at year-end 2023, we had 27 billion in assets under management and deposit base of about 19 billion. And I'm reading my notes to say next slide, please, honestly. Okay. So Meridian offers everything that a traditional bank offers, along with putting members first and reinvesting 4% of our profits back into communities we serve, which is I absolutely love. We're very fortunate. So as business owners, the challenges of accessing capital, obtain funding and growth to your business. So from not the right documents and back and forth between us advisors and us not understanding your business and vice versa. And then accessing capital can be really challenging for business owners, whether you're a startup, doesn't even matter what size you are. So I want to just showcase a couple of solutions that Meridian has for our business owners. So we are beyond excited to be one of 4 institutions chosen in Canada to piloting a new lending program joint with Business Development Canada, BDC, known as the Accelerator Loan, for the next 18 months. So the goal of our program is to deliver capital underrepresented businesses across Ontario. Oops, here I am jumping ahead. Okay, so the business program is designed to be extremely simple for loans from 25,000 up to 500,000 to assist with working capital needs to help grow your business. So invoices are not required, funds are directed to the business, and you can disperse them as you see fit, given that you're the expert with your business, with BDC backing the loan. So Meridian requires a first position GSA, which is General Security Agreement over the thing. However, BDC provides 100% guarantee in the first year and then 90% and so on and so forth because it scales down. So hang on, next slide. Oh, and I did that too. Holy moly, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So we've created a simple a matrix system for lending up to 100,000. So basically what we're taking is, and my colleagues on the call have already talked about credit and capital and character, et cetera, et cetera. So we're taking your credit rating. So basically we're doing a scale of your credit rating. So your bank, your BNI, your credit rating matches up to this. And then that's what you can qualify for with not a lot of questions asked, keeping in mind that, we need to do our due diligence to make sure that, the working capital is needed based on your business, et cetera, but it makes it quite simple. So I did one not that long ago. The business itself was, it was a sole proprietor, and then it's transitioned into a partnership as a corporation. So even though the business looks like it's new, the continuity of having a sole proprietor prior to that allowed me to give what would traditionally be looked at as a brand new business, able to give some extra funding, which is really helpful. So this is what we do. So documents that we'd need to look at your personal credit score. So we access your credit score, and then we can attribute that loan directly to you. And then we also just need a simple credit or a personal net worth completed, and we can help you fill out that as well, because sometimes they can be not a lot of fun. So although the program does go up to 500,000, members that are financing up to 100,000 can satisfy their needs when they expand, can go by this, and anything over and above that. Standard financing for businesses, usually, your total debt servicing is one thing. You've got your standard loan to value, like for example, when I do commercial or small business lending, 1 to 2.5 times, or et cetera, to make sure that there's sufficient cash coming in to be able to fund the loan, or to be able to any other obligations a business has. With this program, it allows us to not necessarily meet traditional ratios, and we can do a bit better, which gives us some more flexibility when we're trying to help our members access capital, which is excellent. So the process is very easy for the accelerator loan. You contact Meridian, so myself or any of my colleagues covering the areas, because we stretch over all of Ontario. And then there's an online form. So we analyze the net worth and financial statements. So what you would have to give is financial statements. So it could be your T1 general, if you're a sole proprietor or partnership, or your 1 year's worth of prepared financial statements you would have done. And you go to the BDC website and get the code, and then you come for us and we process the loan, and the funding can happen, depending on the scenario, less than a week. It's fairly quick, which we're very fortunate to have. And then next is, next slide is next. So that's our BDC loan. And then the next thing I want to discuss, so that is for businesses that have been a year or above. And then this is our quick start program for businesses that are brand new. And so eligible businesses operating, so for example, 2 years or less, depending what their needs are, up to 35,000 new lending, comprised of, you can do term loan that can help with equipment, leasehold improvements, marketing, et cetera, and then 10,000 in revolving facility that could either be a business visa or a business small overdraft operating loan. The new business is ease of capital. Term loan portion can be used for any type of the expense, pre-tax invoices. Determined amount is based on your Beacon and BNI, similar to that slide I just previously showed with the colors going. The requirements are just a business plan with projections. So with this one, we need at least about 3 years worth of projection to show, what it's going to look like, what the cash flow is going to be, and how you're going to manage in that regard. And then we can work to access the capital that way. And again, a simple matrix guide. So bear with me here. Okay, so that is the 2 programs that we have. And so as I said, the BDC is brand new. We just launched it earlier in the year, and we've had a lot of success and a lot of members coming in, new members to Meridian, existing members to Meridian, which makes it really simple. And then the funding to help members grow. And then the Quick Start program is our original one. We've had that for years and years. And that is, it is specific. So if the BDC, if you don't have a year's worth of continuity or backing behind you, this program allows you, as long as you have that sound business plan, that we can help with as well. And then I've met Jamie numerous times through different events over in that area toward Hanover, etc. So we work closely with Jamie and BDC, and then Bruce Community Futures. We've done that as well, depending on the area. So we want to do between a partnership with all of us, want to do everything we can possibly do to help our members grow and succeed and start. It's because, you're the expert, and that's where we come in to offer as much guidance as we possibly can between these two programs. It's just been amazing to help members be able to get some capital to inject into their corporation or their sole proprietorship or whatever else have you to help them grow. So we're really, really fortunate to have that. And I talk super fast as well. So my 10-minute presentation, I think, was about 7 minutes because I get pretty excited. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know, or we can, obviously we can recoup at the end. Caitlin, whatever is best.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It was very informative and some great programs that Meridian offers for our businesses. So great to learn about those. So we're going to go over to our last speaker, Julia. She is with Futurepreneur. Julia.
Thank you. I just wanted to, before I started, I wanted just to quickly see how many people in the audience were actually entrepreneurs versus presenters. And that's kind of my bad for losing track. Is it around 4, Caitlin?
It looks like there's 4 or so on the call, but a lot of people, we are recording it and sharing it with all of our Pitch It participants, which there's 14 of those as well, Julia.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because there's kind of 2 sides of the Futurepreneur program. There is the part that's for entrepreneurs. And I mean, that's really what the program is, but because part of the program is that we pair entrepreneurs with a mentor, we're also always recruiting mentors. So if anybody in this chat or that will be viewing this presentation is more than a few years in business, then they might be interested in becoming a mentor to a local new entrepreneur in their community. And so I'll focus a little bit on that just in case any eyes on this on my presentation belong to somebody who is a experienced entrepreneur or past a couple of years in business. But yeah, I want to keep it pretty brief. I know we've been on here for a while now. So I think I'll just highlight how Futurepreneur is different than the other presenters. We do offer a lot of the same things, but probably what's most important is how we differ so that anybody listening to this can make a decision on whether we would be the best lender for you or whether we would be a part of your options that you choose. So essentially, Futurepreneur is a loan up to $60,000, so 60,000, specifically for brand new entrepreneurs. So you do not need to have existing sales to qualify for that full $60,000. Additionally, it is a collateral-free loan, so your net worth is not considered. We don't need to collateralize the loan. Like in the event that you don't pay it back, we cannot take any property, business, or personal, or any assets for that matter. So we're probably one of the only lenders that offers that large of a loan that's completely unsecured to brand new entrepreneurs without the requirement that you have to be in business for a certain number of years. Now, your credit is important. So I think Renee mentioned that a credit score of 550 would potentially be accepted for some of Perro's loans. Even if the business was 9 months in operation, so still relatively new, but you've got some sales under your belt, and you applied for a Futurepreneur loan, we wouldn't consider that success. Or even if there's proof of demand for your product and you're about to launch it, we wouldn't consider that if your credit score is below 625. So we are great in the sense that it's completely collateral free. It's available for brand new entrepreneurs, and you can get up to $60,000 even if you're a brand new entrepreneur with no sales to show for. However, credit does matter because we have to kind of take risk into account somewhere. So those are sort of the main points. Again, brand new entrepreneurs up to $60,000 and completely unsecured. The one thing I mentioned at the beginning of my talking was the mentorship. So every entrepreneur that receives a loan from Futurepreneur, even if it's just $5,000, will receive a dedicated mentor that will work with them once a week for 2 years. So we go through a very, very careful process in matching every entrepreneur with a good quality mentor. All of our mentors have at least a few years of experience supporting themselves in their business. We have mentors from all kinds of industries. We can almost guarantee that we'll find any entrepreneur a mentor either from their industry, or if if the entrepreneur is looking for a mentor with, for example, great digital marketing skills or a great sales strategy, we can find a mentor that essentially has the skills that is exactly what the entrepreneur is looking for. We do give the opportunity to the entrepreneur to approve the mentor, and if the entrepreneur doesn't like them, we will find a different mentor. And we also check in on that relationship for the 2 years to make sure that the entrepreneur is satisfied. So a lot of times, people take advantage of the Futurepreneur loan, and then if they need more than 60,000, they'll go to another lender as well. The big benefit being that you can get that size of money completely unsecured, and also the mentorship. So sometimes people just borrow $5,000 from Futurepreneur just to get that mentor. And I think similar to a couple of people who have talked today, you can repay a lot of the Futurepreneur loan early with no penalty. There is a portion of that 60,000 that is provided by BDC. And so that portion provided by BDC, there is a penalty for early repayment, which is on par with BDC's policy. But a good portion of the loan for Futurepreneur, you can repay early with no penalty. So there's a lot of the same benefits. Again, you don't have to have sales. You can apply for that $60,000 loan, and it's not a competition as long as your credit is in decent standing, and your business plan is well thought out, then you should be approved for it. So I want to talk about a couple other things too while I have everyone's attention. We do offer great support for business plan writing. So similar to some other lenders, we do coach you on your business plan to kind of get it up to speed. So if you know, an entrepreneur thinks they need to borrow money, but they're not ready to apply because they don't think that they're able to write a business plan that's super detailed, we have free coaching internally. So that's different from the mentorship. It's like coaching before the application, and entrepreneurs can have an unlimited amount of face-to-face sessions to get support writing their business plan. We also have on our website what's called the Business Plan Writer, which anybody can use even if they don't apply to Futurepreneur. And it is a super user-friendly kind of like automated business plan writer. You still have to enter information, but it kind of gives you each question one by one. It gives you different example answers, and does it in an order that would be really sufficient for any financial institution that you're applying for. So I'm going to type in the chat the link to the Business Plan Writer. And anybody who's listening to this just on audio, you can Google Futurepreneur Business Plan Writer and find that great resource. And I think on that very same page, you'll see some free workshops as well, which is essentially somebody taking you through how to do the Business Plan Writer. So we got lots of free resources on our website. Business Plan Writer is the main one, and I wanted to highlight that. And again, if you don't have sales and you don't have a significant net worth and you're looking for a sizable loan up to $60,000, Futurepreneur is definitely a great option. Also considering we provide that mentorship. One caveat I will mention, and I'm not sure whether it's good I saved it to the end or not. The majority owner, so the person who owns the majority of the business, whether it's 50.1% or 100%, has to be under 40 to qualify for this program. It's a government initiative that is specifically for young entrepreneurs. So the mentorship and like the fact that it's collateral free and all the other benefits is available specifically for young entrepreneurs. But that said, if you have a business partner who either has 50.1% or you're willing to make that change, you can still qualify. So again, this will be my last sentence. Just want to conclude because I want to say it over and over. If you're brand new in business, you don't have sales to show for, you want a large loan, and you would benefit from the mentoring too, Futurepreneur is an amazing option. And one thing I'll add is our interest rate is one of the lowest you'll find. It's 9%. I don't know if you can go lower than that these days. And that is locked, so it will never go up. It could actually go down. If the prime rate ever goes down, the 9% will go down to match it. So if you want more information, you can just Google Futurepreneur. If you go on the website, you'll fill in the form, you'll automatically be in contact with me or be put in contact with me. The website makes it super easy. So all you really need to do is go to futurepreneur.ca and click learn more. You'll be put into contact with me and we can have a conversation. And like I said, if you Google Futurepreneur Business Plan Writer, you will find that super helpful business plan writer tool, which will help you prepare a business plan and gear up for any other sort of application for a loan or a grant or any kind of program.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Julia. It's always great to hear about the wonderful program that you had and the different services and support that you have for our businesses. So that's really great. And thank you for taking the time with us. So we'll go into our question period. So please either show of hands here or put your hand up if you have a question. And, you know, like I said, we have all these great panelists to answer your question.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. We do have, just speaking on the Paro lending circles, we do already have 3 women that are interested in joining a circle. And I want to say off the top of my head, 10 or 11 of the businesses in Pitchett are women-owned businesses. So if there are any of the women on the call today or that are going to tune in later that might be interested in joining these 3 other women and getting a peer circle going here in Minto, that would be awesome to help out as a group and connect and also have access to some of those grants available. So just throwing that out there.
Perfect. Thank you, Belinda. That's good to know that there's the opportunity there for some of our Pitchett competitors. So what I'll do is I am going to send out contact information for all of these wonderful experts to all of the different individuals that are signed up and that are also signed up for the Pitchett competition. So make sure to share that. But we'll just put the question out again if anyone else has another question. If not, we can carry on. Okay, so I think we'll leave it for now, but like I said, there was a lot of information shared, a lot of great resources and supports. Sounds like, you know, there's a lot of different options for your business. So depending on if you're a woman entrepreneur or a younger entrepreneur, older, depending on what you're looking for, there's a lot of variety here. So, and a lot of great experts to help you that are all kind of in your corner. So thank you so much for attending. And like I said, I'll be sending out the contact information. So feel free to reach out to these experts. And good luck with your businesses. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Julia, was great bumping into you again. Oh, she's left. All right. Thank you, Caitlin. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Everybody.